Welcome back, everybody, to the League of Inches podcast. Give everyone a moment to jump on. Just my lonesome tonight. We're suffering from what I think the first grade NRL stars are suffering from, a lot of injuries. Now, obviously, it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you've all had a great day, even better night. And if there is any mothers watching, please put a comment in. Should give you a special shout out, and I appreciate you watching. A couple of minutes late. Did try and fix the light issue that I've got at the moment. I went out and brought a new light today, but doesn't seem to have worked as well as I would have hoped. So let's see how the episode goes. As I said, it's just going to be a bit of a review show, guys, about the action, obviously, in round 10. What I'll do when I'm talking about each team, just give my opinion after round 10, how that side's going as well, and get your thoughts as well as we go. So keep the comments coming. I'll probably need you more than ever. Obviously, it's going to be hard when doing it by myself, used to having my sideshow with me. So hopefully bear with me, guys. I'll give you my best. And let's see how we go. Special shout out as we're going. Please become a subby if you haven't already. Facebook subby, only $2.99 per month. Great value for money. Awesome, wicked content you get in there. It's a lot of exclusive stuff. And make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube as well. Yep, a lot of comments already coming in. A lot of Para fans once again. We will get to Parramatta. I'll have probably a bit more of a rant once again. You all seem to love it and get into it. What I'll do, so when I say Q&A as well, guys, I'm an open slather. So I'm happy for you to ask about the page, myself, any teams, any sort of football questions you have, fire them in as we go. I'll get to them. We'll just be a bit all over the shop, work what you guys want and go from there. So straight away, Thursday night feels like an age ago now. Dolphins 30 defeating the Manly Sea Eagles 24. Another one of those games. The Dolphins have done it all year so far. They won't go away. It's for mine, it looked like Manly had the class on the park. They just weren't able to get the points early on and consolidate things. The Dolphins just stayed with them and then basically jumped on things and wrestled them to the ground. And at the moment, I'm really impressed with the Dolphins. I know they're sitting well and truly inside the top 8. And people probably think, oh, this happened last year. We've seen it all again. I'm with you, but I think their depth is a lot better this year. It would not surprise me by the end of this competition, they're in the top 8. Wayne Bennett's masterstroke, his parting gift for this playing group. I can see him starting to produce something special. Now, the question is, what's going to happen? Is it going to be Trey Fuller that sticks with the fullback, or is it the Hammer and he becomes fullback? So, and then Trey Fuller maybe a 14, or does Fuller go to fullback and the Hammer goes to center and makes way for probably Jake Averillo, would drop out in my opinion. But I feel like Averillo's been good the last few weeks. I know he took some time to get into this Dolphins system, but I think he has been good since he has got there. We'll see. It'll be an interesting couple of either this week or next week, I believe the Hammer will be back just in time for Origin. New South Wales are losing their stars. Queensland are gaining their stars. How good is that? Yes, a lot of Cowboys comments coming in as well. We'll get to the Cowboys, who I think there's some issues going on there. I believe Todd Payten should be under a lot more pressure than he currently is. For the Manly Sea Eagles, they're a hard one to get my grasp on, because on their day, and when I mean on their day, I mean at Brookvale, they could honestly beat any team. We've seen that. They actually demolished the Penrith Panthers. I know I didn't say it on the scoreboard, but the way they played and just basically strangled the Penrith Panthers. We haven't seen that happen to a Penrith team about 4 years. So Manly, they're sitting 8th at the moment. The Dolphins are 4th. That's probably justified. And 14 points for the Dolphins, 11 points for Manly. So see how it goes. I want to know what you guys think. Is it Hammer, your fullback, or is it Trey Fuller? That's the big one there for the Dolphins. Next game, the Friday night, Penrith Panthers versus the Bulldogs. 16 points to 10 winners for the Penrith Panthers. My super coach hated this game because I actually captained Nathan Cleary, unfortunately. That didn't go down well, did it? That pretty much summed up my super coach. I just scraped over 1,000 points this week. It was a tough one. A lot of stars. Nico Hines not playing. Let me know your super coach scores in the comments as well. Very keen to hear that one. For this game, obviously a lot just to talk about is Nathan Cleary. It's a funny one because that sort of a night, if he still had some sort of niggles with his hemi, I was very shocked with how cautious they've been so far with Nathan Cleary that they would actually play him again. I thought that would have been a game where they definitely rested him, but they didn't. And now that he's out for up to 8 weeks, which is a huge blow for Penrith, it's a huge blow for New South Wales because I believe that could rule him out for the entire Origin series. So we'll see what happens there. Mark, that's a great score, mate. 1,060. I think that's about 40. Oh, the producer, holy mate. 1,278 on fire. Thanks to Dom Young as captain. That's a huge play. Well done on that. That's happened a couple of times now. Sunday's massive scores have helped people actually rescue their round. Remember Nico Hines a few weeks ago for the Sharkies. So don't talk to me about that because I took the C off him that day. Penrith, they're obviously just sitting nicely, in my opinion, in the second. 16 points, 1 win behind the Cronulla Sharks, just doing what they need to do. There's a bit of concern, I believe, now because Cleary's out. I've heard so is Schneider. So that's going to be interesting what happens there. I predict Luai will probably go to halfback. Not sure what that is. A 5'8" is maybe Dane Laurie, but I'm not sure where he's up to with things, if he's up to that sort of a role. For the Bulldogs, I thought they were in it. They're lacking still for mine, probably 2 players. I think a genuine middle forward who's one of those real big dogs, like demands respect type figures. And then obviously that halfback. I don't think Hutchinson is the answer for him. I think they've been grinding and it does work for them to a certain extent. They have looked better. But I don't believe they're going to get to that level that they want to get with Drew Hutchison as their halfback. But let me know in the comments there what you think. At the moment for the Bulldogs this season, obviously they're sitting 9th, so they're doing quite a good job. Again, it's pretty much echoes what I just said about them. There's still, for mine, just a couple of players missing. For the squad that they've got, personally, I don't rate their squad that highly. I think they're traveling overs in terms of their squads. So interesting what happens there. The second game on the Friday night, here we are, guys. Parramatta 14 lost to the Brisbane Broncos 30. I've got a bloody hair in my mouth. Goodness, man. I don't know where to start. Let me know in the comments where you want to go with this on, boys and girls, because I know there's a lot of Para fans out there. Look, I've said a lot of things over the last few weeks, and the thing for me, it's actually becoming exhausting being a Parramatta fan. And I don't know if anyone out there can relate to this, but I don't look forward to watching this team at the moment. And I've got Magic Round tickets. I'll be there. I'm more looking forward to watching the other games on that day than my own team. I'm scared shitless, even though the Storm have injuries, about what this scoreline could be. One thing I want to say at the moment, and this is probably my rant at the moment, is the effort. The whole effort talk at the moment around this club is making me sick. And it's just a go-to line for it seems like that core group of senior players that we've all heard what I've said about that, and Tim Manor said it, how Brad Arthur keeps them so close together. And what BA loves to talk about is effort, effort, effort. We're a first-grade football team. I'm sorry, but effort doesn't cut it anymore. You need more than effort. You need to get the 2 points. You need to get wins when you're in these sorts of situations. And unfortunately, we haven't been getting them. It's not working. To me, it's not going to work. And it's painful. It's time to change. It's time to shake the whole place up. I don't know how we're going to do it, boys and girls, but I'm more than happy to get behind some sort of movement, get behind. I know people talk about petitions and stuff. I'm more happy to do that sort of stuff. I want to actually get in front of people. I want to start talking to people and demanding some changes, because as a proud history of this club that my family has, it actually saddens me to see where the state of the club is, and the fact that so many non-para figures are part of the head office at the moment speaks volumes to me. They don't care about the club. They have never cared about the club. They only care about money, and this club deserves a lot more than just money. We're doing very well. There's clear as day when you walk into the Leagues Club and you see how good we've got it compared to how things were 10, 15 years ago. The money's there no matter what. We need to start seeing some actual proper changes and people who care about the football team and the football club. It makes me ridiculously jealous that our next door neighbour in the Penrith Panthers have got things so good, and that could have been us. Don't make any mistakes about it, guys. That could have been us, and it unfortunately isn't. And we've got to sit there and look at this class Penrith team do what they do week in, week out, whether it's with injuries or not. Don't worry, they've been without their star halfback as well, and they've still looked like a first-grade football team. We've been without it, and all we've heard is excuses about it and people trying to excuse why we are how we are. So that pretty much, as you can see, for how I feel about the Parramatta Eels at the moment, this season, to be honest, if it wasn't for South Sydney, I think they're the worst team in the competition. Currently sitting 13th. A couple of early wins did help that. Just been absolute dog shit, in my opinion. For the Broncos, really impressed with the Broncos at the moment. I really want to have a special shout out to Ezra Mam and Reece Walsh, who I think have really stood up nicely anytime either Reynolds gets injured during a game or whenever Adam Reynolds is out for a game. So really impressed. Honestly, I think Reece Walsh, has talked about his current contract. I think he could easily become the highest paid player in this competition, and not just the highest paid by some way. I'm talking $1.5, $1.6 million for Reece Walsh. I think he's that good, and the way the contracts and the salaries are going up and up, that sort of money would not surprise me coming into things. Yeah, Andrew, Ezra is the future Queensland 6 with Walker 7. It's a scary, scary proposition for us New South Wales folks to see the depth that this Queensland side currently has. Paul, Broncos did not play great, but they did enough to win, and we helped them with stupid errors. That's exactly right. Like, the game was there to be won, and we didn't do it. Look, credit to someone like Blaze who had his ups and downs. I thought he was fairly good, but Peter's right there. Parra should go hard for far longer from Melbourne. Now, there's a bit to this because a lot of people probably don't know that he actually has a clause in his contract. If Ryan Papenhuyzen does re-sign with the Melbourne Storm, which is being highly touted that's going to be happening, he actually has a clause in his contract to become a free agent and look around if he so chooses. I would 100% with that play. I would be going after that guy 100%. Everyone knows how much I love him. He knows how much I love him. And I'll catch him at Magic Round, and I'll be in his ear saying, just keep it your phone on, mate. Let's make this happen. So, it's the Broncos are sitting nice. They're starting their run starting now. I feel like some of these big teams are starting to time their run. They're probably getting on their run a bit earlier than they would have liked, but I think they know it's a few weeks out from Origin. You're going to miss some stars. You need to get some wins up now. We're just seeing some of those big teams start to put their best foot forward. First game on the Saturday was the West Tigers 14, losing to the Newcastle Knights. Obviously, Jez regular the show on the Wednesday night. Very wrapped with this one. It was a great performance in the end by the Knights just to scrape home and get this one done. It wasn't a pretty game. If I'm being honest, I can't talk much about the game because it was one of those games where I was just leave him alone, Joel. It was one of those games where I couldn't get into it. I had some other things going on. I was on the page. I was just getting through some admin stuff and the like, and just used to chew it up for this game. So I'll talk about where I think these teams are at the moment. The West Tigers, there is improvement. The producer, how does Pappy not get binned for that? That's something I did see. How that happened, I got no idea. How he stayed on the field, how he hasn't been suspended for it. Who knows? I had my rant last week about the referees. It hasn't stopped. Chris, hi, Joel. Keep the great work up on your podcast. Parra had too many errors on Friday night. Thanks for the kind words, Chris. Hope you're enjoying it. Normally, there's some others on this podcast that the regulars do know. One, Mickery is commenting they weren't able to make it tonight. We're suffering from a lot of injuries like the NRL stars at the moment. Down a few truths, but I needed to come on and give you guys what you want, and that's talk some footy after a big weekend. Mark Naden is useless style. I don't know why he's in there, to be honest. Like, that's probably for mine a spot where our youngsters should be coming in. They're building at the moment, the Tigers. That's the exciting thing about the Tigers. You can actually see a bit about where they're going moving forward. But then they promote someone like Naden back in the team. I just thought it was a backward step. That there's other players in that squad that deserve that at the moment and look like to be in their future plans. So interesting. As I said, the Tigers look like they are improving as a squad overall. Is it as much as it probably made out to be? I don't think so, because they started so strong. They had they won 2 and lost 1 on their first 3 games, and then it's been pretty much losses since. It's been a tough slog since. It'll be interesting what happens over the next couple. This Origin campaign where they're not really, maybe Coruscant, that's it. That's a huge loss for them. But they need to make it happen. For the Newcastle Knights, Mikey's playing up. Oh, sorry, guys. Hope it's not. This is a hard thing. I don't have anyone with me to quickly message me and let me know that things aren't working. Hopefully, it's just the position of the mic. Things have changed up. Yeah, there's a few things happening, and I'm not too sure what's going on here, guys. But getting through it. Newcastle Knights. The thing with the Newcastle Knights at the moment, for mine, they're not winning handsomely like they would with Kalen Ponga in their team, but they've found a way now. I feel like the whole team has become stronger since lost call. I don't think so, guys. Hopefully not anyway. Should be all right now. Should be good. Let me know. Sorry about this one. Again, has to happen when no one is around. I apologise. But yeah, the Newcastle Knights, I feel like as a team, they've played better since Ponga's been injured. They haven't had the class and the flair, but they've played as a better team. That's a huge thing for them. Next game up, the Dragons beating the South Sydney Rabbitohs 28 points to 14. Let's talk about the Dragons. They did exactly what they needed to do to win. Thanks, Andrew. I got this. I hope. We'll see. Might have to bloody shut the podcast down in a minute. Hopefully it's not too hard for you guys to tune in and listen to. For the Dragons, as I was saying, it was a very weakened South Sydney team. They had a little bit of spirit. Only while I talk. Maybe it's the... Hold on. Let me turn the volume down a little bit for the microphone and see if that helps. Hopefully that's a bit better. Let me know that hopefully should be better, because I'm definitely not tapping. Good old audio issues. It's fine, man. We'll all be there. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks for helping me out. Hopefully, thanks, Paul. It is good now. But for the Dragons, I really want to shout out to Jaden Sewer, who I think has been sensational the last pretty much the whole year. I think he's been a cornerstone for I know Lomax is getting a lot of the raps. Yeah, thanks, Charlie. I think it might have just been the volume. I think I may have had it up just a little bit too much, so my apologies there, guys. I know Ben Hunt, Zach Lomax are sort of getting the raps, but I really want to shout out Jack DeBellin and Jaden Sewer, who I think have been huge for him in that forward pack. I had a lot of question marks around their forward pack at the start of the year, but it's probably been one of their strengths. Cheers, Travis boy, mate. Wish you were on this with me. I need some help. South Sydney. Look, there's not much to say. It's become a season, honestly. How they avoid the wooden spoon now, I don't know. That's where it's gotten to. Maybe my team deals might help them get out of that. Hopefully not. That would just be absolutely embarrassing. But I feel for the club at the moment. The injuries. Now that they've got JD out, Jaden Sewer might go GC. Who knows? That's a big one, Jade. Andrew, that's a League of Inches exclusive. A little bit of rumours. Love to hear it. But yeah, it's hard to talk about the Rabbitohs to say that, yeah, might play them into form. We probably will. We've got them in a couple of weeks and they'll probably beat us. It's hard to say anything other than what we've already said about the Bunnies. Everyone knows I don't want to keep laying the boot into them, because I was starting to feel for their fans, because as a Para fan, I know how it feels to not be winning at the moment and to be struggling on and off the field. It seems like their board's all over the shop as well. They need some changes. So do Para. And it's just, sooner this season is over for him, the better. I do believe Latrell had some good moments, but I still don't believe he's a fullback for this team. But at the moment, with the injuries to Jai Gray, it sort of forced their hand. I don't think it was going to happen. If Jai Gray was fit, I think he would have still been the fullback, and we would have seen Latrell playing centre. I think that's where he should be, centre. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, feel for you, Bunnies fans. I really do. Next game, honestly, this was an absolute cracker. The Melbourne Storm losing to the Cronulla Sharks, 25 points to 18. This just wet the throat a bit, guys. Bear with me. Without Nicho Hynes. So 24 hours before we all found out, super coaches like myself just going crazy. Could not believe what I was seeing. Just what a week it's been for super coaches, guys. Like I seen producer earlier with his 1200. That's ridiculous. There's been so many low scores this weekend. It's just been horrible. Mark Storm ruined my perfect round of tipping. Wow, that's a great round tipping. Well done. I stuffed the Titans. I was kept saying I think the Titans will win this one, and just for some reason went the Cowboys. But what can you do? It's been that sort of a year for my tipping at the moment, so not good at all. But the Storm, this is what I mean with clubs. The Storm are such a great club all around, and I hate to say it because obviously we, as a Para fan, just had that natural hatred after 2009 and learning what we did about the salary cap, etc. But I also just applaud them. Their next man up mentality is probably the best in the competition. Them and Penrith are just clearly streaks ahead. They are just such a dangerous football team. I know they lost this game, but the Cronulla Sharks, if we go and speak about the Cronulla Sharks at the moment, they are so good. Their club as a whole is so on point at the moment. It's ridiculous. And I haven't seen this from Cronulla. Even for their premiership winning team, I would not say it was this close. I saw after the game, they all got in that huddle on the field. Andrew, Sharks pretenders still. To be fair, Sharks had 6 and 7 out. I don't know about pretenders anymore. This is the sort of point I was going to get to. I'm putting respect onto the Sharks' names now. I think they're a genuine top 4 side. I know Melbourne had some players out, as producers said, that they had Nico Hines out. They had Trindle still out. They've got their first 6 and 7 out. Finucane retired. He was put down as probably their starting lock at the start of the season. I know McKinnon's doing a great job, but that's another out possibility. Their defense is really good. I agree, Charlie. I think their defense is sensational. And that's what's going to win you a competition. We all know you can have the flair all you want, but unless you can get down in the trenches and really get gritty with teams, you got no chance in this competition. So well done to the Sharks. For both teams at the moment, how they're going, I think they're both flying. Both are up top 4 teams, in my opinion. And the next team I'm going to talk about are probably the only team, apart from Penrith, who I think can really challenge here. So Sunday for the Roosters. So today, huge result, 38 points to 18. I'll tell you what, after 15 to 20 minutes, I dead set thought I was about to put the Warriors on the list. That's how this was going. The producer, Harry Grant wasn't a sin bin or report, but 100% a penalty. Yeah, I haven't mentioned this. Let's rewind. Got ahead of myself. I had someone to pull me into line. Where do I start? It actually makes me sick where the officiating is like that. I know letter by the law, it's a penalty, but that's not a sin bin. That's not a suspension. That's nothing. He got $1,000 fine. I even think the $1,000 fine's too much. If I was him in the Storm, I would challenge the $1,000 fine just out of spite, just to prove a point, because if it was as bad as the NRL was trying to say by giving him a sin bin, they should have doubled down with the suspension to say we really want to stamp this out. But the fact that they only went for a fine shows me that they're embarrassed by it in a way. They've got to try and protect the officials by putting him in the bin. And the letter of the law, I know people will say the letter of the law, it is correct decision. I understand that, but we've got to change the letter of the law. As people saying, tripping isn't a sin bin, but that is. He wasn't even looking at him. Like the other week, I'll talk about the Sean Johnson one. Sean Johnson one when they got the penalty last tackle of the game. I forget who they were versing. I got a mental blank on. I think it was a mental blank on who they were versing the Warriors, but everyone will know what I'm talking about. That player was actually had intent to go in and charge down and was full on going through the line of Johnson. Yes, thanks, Andrew Manley. This one was different. Harry Grant was off to the side. He was literally looking the other way and no malice whatsoever in it. It was like a fairy tale. It was – I just don't get where we're going to with the game. We've got Magic Round coming up this weekend. It's supposed to be a festival of football. We're all supposed to be there loving life, watching the best kind of footy. They want to see attacking, flowing footy to attract the fans. We can't be doing this stuff. It was actually ridiculous, but – Charlie, where's the discretion? He couldn't just stop, and the fact he tried to avoid contact and just clipped him, these types of calls can cost a team in the big games. The producer, don't mix it. Big difference between a penalty and a sin bin. This was a penalty as that's the rules, but not a sin bin, 100%. I think that's a good way to end that because that'll probably be brought up again in the Wednesday show, guys. We'll go a bit more into it. And I'll do a bit of announcement later on before I turn off, guys. We'll probably go for another 5 or 10 minutes. And let you know what's happening with the Wednesday show, because it's going to be a big one. We're going to get probably a lot of us on, or everyone on at once, have a big, massive sort of Magic Round fun show, get into whatever we can, and cause a muck, really. It'll be a really fun show to be a part of, so make sure you note down Wednesday, 8:30. The Roosters 38-18. As I said, I thought the Warriors were about to go on the list. They earn a bit of respect towards the back half of this game with how they're playing. How much did the Roosters clock off? I guess we've got to question that as well, because early on it looked like the Roosters could have won. It could have chosen their winning margin, and it sort of maybe did in a way. Dom Young, tell you what, Jesse, you've seen him on the show, told me for Supercoach to get him in. Told himself, mind you, and he didn't listen to himself, the producer again. Thank you, Dom Young. I wish I got it. I wish I listened. I went for a Sarko instead. I chased the money. That the big price rise is coming. I honestly feel Dom Young is almost a must-have next week now. We'll see what happens. And I've got a couple of injuries, big injuries to deal with Supercoach-wise, but I'll keep that to the Supercoach show. The Roosters are my premiership favourites. I'll declare that now. They are such a dangerous football side. And I just feel like they're touching the surface still. That's the thing. I actually don't think they're playing their best football at the moment. There's some individual brilliance happening. There's some moments of brilliance. But as a full-on team, I don't think they've hit their straps yet, and I don't think they're nowhere near where they can be. Sam Walker, bearded Sam Walker, is a freak. Keep the beard. I hope he just continues to grow it, because the beard's working for you, brother. It also makes you look like a bit of a better-looking rooster as well. So credit to you there. Andrew Walker, footy IQ to kick to Daniel instead of going for a try. Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I'm talking about. He's just freakish at the moment. For the Warriors, tell you what, I'm pretty concerned. I am that close to writing him off and putting the red pen through him. I just keep trying to make excuses for him because I was so high on him in the off season. I really like their squad. Their squad's stronger than last year. It's not making sense. When do we start looking at the coaching, and when does that get questioned? Is it Andrew Webster second year syndrome for a coach? Is that a possibility? I'm not sure if the players believe in their own hype at the start of the year and not really putting in some of the effort areas that they were doing last year. Mark, do you think Warriors improve when their 5 and 6 injured players return? You'd like to think they do, but at the same time, in saying that, they've still got some very good players on the field. I think they've got players on the field that a lot of teams would love to have in their first choice 13 to 17. They do have a couple, and look at Johnson might be out for a couple of weeks now as well, which is really going to hurt him because they need to start winning some football games. They need to put a few together, especially around this origin period when teams are going to be less strengthened than themselves. So we'll see what happens. Last game, Titans getting it done against the Cowboys. Goodness me, they only just got there in the end, didn't they? But I want to give a special credit to the Gold Coast Titans, who I thought they were the much better team. Obviously losing Foran and then obviously Brimson towards the end really hurt them and gave the Cowboys a sniff to get back into it, but I'm glad they didn't. So if the Cowboys are in trouble, I think Todd Payton has a lot of pressure to keep his job. And if without the Eels and without the South Sydney Rabbitohs, I think he'd be under a lot more pressure than he currently is. Townsville gets to sort of hide away in a little bit. The producer, how does Holmes not score? There were so many good moments in defence for the Titans today and tonight. They look like they legitimately cared as well, which I questioned right at the start of the year. It looked like their players didn't care. It looks like them and Des have got together and really started to gel and work out a combination to work each other's game plans out, because we all know the flashy, brilliant plays that the Titans players have had over the years, but they've never had that gritty defense. We've started to see that. So credit to them. I love seeing what I'm seeing at the moment from the Titans. They're still improving. There's still got a lot more improvement to come. They've got some more games to win. Controversially, I'd rather be in the Titans' shoes right now than the Cowboys team. That's what I'll say there and leave that there. And obviously the Canberra Raiders with the bye. I promised a bit of a Q&A style as well, guys. So start firing some questions in. As I said, it can be footy related, unfooty related, about the page, about myself, however you want to take it. Let's do it for 5-10 minutes. A bit of a Q&A, see where we go, what you guys want to know. I'm an open book, happy to talk and chat about whatever, and go from there. Chris, do you think Para has a chance next week against Melbourne in Brisbane? Obviously, yeah. So Magic Round next weekend. I can't wait. I'll be there all 3 games, guys. So if you are up there, you want to catch up, have a drink or something, have a chat, more than happy to organise something. I'll try and let you know if you are interested where I'll be, etc. And like to say thank you myself personally as well to everyone who has been listening, been part of the show regularly, and supporting the page. So really, really keen to see that. I don't think we have a chance, though, to answer your question, unfortunately, Chris. And it does hurt me to say that because I wish I could say. But the likes of Suafai Longo, Munster coming into Origin, scary. Harry Grant, after what happened to him yesterday, I think they'll all be trying to fire in. And we're going to be the victims, unfortunately. And to be honest, I wouldn't be rushing Mitch Moses back for this game. I'd actually give him another week to make sure his injuries are good, especially with what we're seeing lately. Just looking up at a few of these questions now. Maybe if the NRL clubs cut the games to 40 minutes, that would be good. Producer, fans booing for Fifita was interesting. Yeah, look, I know there was a bit of talk about that during the week, and then I know a couple of the content creators did come out for the Titans and try and urge their fans to not do it, to support him at the moment while he's a Titan. I'm just not sure. And I said this, I put a video up the other day where this is all coming from with the Titans fans, because if anything, if I was a fan of the Titans, I'm actually pissed off with the board. I'm pissed off with club management and the coaching staff and coach who actually put these sorts of terms and conditions into and clauses into these contracts for him that has made it a complete circus pretty much every year. And I feel for the Titans fans who have had to go through it, but Dave Fifita is only doing what the club has allowed him to do. He's not gone out and just become a free agent because he's whinging. He's doing it because he's actually been told it's in his contract he can do it. So I don't understand necessarily the booing for him. He hasn't done this out of spite. He's literally just he wants to go and win a competition. He sees the Roosters as the best chance. Personally, I would have gone to the Penrith Panthers, but he's made his mind up because I believe his partner will be signing with the Sydney Roosters. But yeah, that is what I think on that situation. I wouldn't be booing for Fifita. I'd be actually asking some serious questions about my club. I know it meant they got David Fifita, but I don't think you want David Fifita if that's the sort of clauses he needs in his contract, because it doesn't suggest to me that he's all in on that club from the word go. Andrew, is your son supporting any team but Para? Well, in the household, shout out to the missus as well, Mother's Day. Love her to death and does a great job for my family. Who knows if she's watching this or not? She probably isn't, doing things for her own page and looking after Bub. He's a Para fan, unfortunately. Got him obviously last name. He has no choice with that last name, but he'll have a soft spot for the Dolphins because that's the missus team. She does go for the Dolphins. Going through Mart D. Cheers for watching, Mart. Who do you think is the best replacements for Manu and Suaalii? Well, I don't know if much is on the market, but the one thing is I reckon they'll go out. They've already got that rugby Mark Nwangatisi, I think it is. I'm not too sure about the pronunciation there. It's a long one. He'll be there for probably a winger spot. And Billy Smith as well. He's been out. I think he'll come in to that side as well. I believe Tupou's re-signed, so he'll be there for one more year, which will really help him. I think that's a signing to help him out a lot. And there'll be a couple of people that will float around. I reckon that they can turn some of those players into stars that got that capability. Charlie SC, is Trey Fuller off contract also? Would he be a good fit at Para? I'm not too sure his contract status because I think this year he's not even technically in the top 30 squad at the moment. I think he's still only a train and trial. That'll be something I'll have to check up after the show and see where he's up to. I'm not too sure. Andrew Backhouse, another blowout incoming. If you're talking about Parramatta, I think so. The producer, if you are in Queensland, when does your second head start growing? Well, I moved here, so I don't know if technically that ended up happening because I'm still a New South Wales supporter. So I know there's more and more of us coming up here. Around Origin time, I'm seeing more and more sky blue. I've started to wear my jumper out here and there out of hope that we can do something. With all these injuries, it's not looking good. GG guys, tell you what, I love this League of Interest family we've got going. I love the community. Charlie, when and what time is Mark O'Neill due to be at Lord Alfred next weekend? So yeah, for Para fans, I believe myself and the Talking Para guys will be at the Lord Alfred. That's sort of the gig I think the Eels Club is putting on. There will be a Q&A, and I'll tell you now that we will be there to ask some serious questions to the club. We can't just spit things and say stuff and not back it up. We'll be backing it up on that day. So I've got no doubt the club will get wind of it, and I'll be very surprised if the right people turn up or if they try and screen questions to make sure that they get the right questions asked to them and only answer, the ones that love and suck up to the club and, fanboy, blah, blah, blah. We won't be there to do that, but it would be interesting to see if they, first of all, let us in and let us actually ask the questions that deserve to be asked. Who's your go-to replacement for Cleary in Origin? That's from Mart D. I think Mitchell Moses, if he can come back fit, will be the 7, and I think Nicho Hynes will play the 6. I think Mitchell Moses will be better to control the team fully and let Nicho Hynes have his running game. If Moses doesn't come back well, I'd obviously put in Hynes at probably halfback, and I don't even know that. Like it's getting scary. Like Matt Burton maybe at 5'8", but I don't even think he's a 5'8". That's where it's getting to. Luai, does he come back into do I dare mention his name back in a New South Wales team? I don't know how the public would portray that. I'm not too sure. Paul, the other player has an option nearly every year. Can't think of his name. I think it's Tino Pasua Malawi has options, I believe. So see what happens. Paul, do you think Blaze stays with us? Unfortunately, I don't. I don't think he will stay with us. And I've heard a couple of little whispers around the traps that he potentially has already signed somewhere. I don't blame him. I've said this before. I've said it on the Talking Para podcast. I've said it on here a couple of times. There is no Brad Arthur doesn't have a clue what to do with this kid at the moment. He keeps swapping him in and out of first grade, in and out of positions. He's played 3 or 4 different positions over the last month. I feel sorry for the kid. His confidence has been shot, and look how he played on the weekend with his confidence shot. Imagine how he can play with his confidence sky high, like the Trey Fullers, like the David Armstrongs for Newcastle, where there's a bit of belief in them. They can stick and play fullback if it's that, if it's centre, if it's wing, whatever position it's going to be for these kids. You need to have stability for them. You need to let them shine, which unfortunately we have a coach that doesn't want to do that. Andrew, who is your Blues front runner for the 7? Do you have Lewis? I've already answered that one. I think Blaze will wait to see where Brad names Gutherson when he comes back. If Gutherson plays fullback, Blaze leaves. I think it'll be done before that. I don't think he'll wait 6 weeks. I think clubs will be lining up to grab him. Chris, will Moses play State of Origin now? I believe he will. I was actually thinking about this because technically it can't happen because you can't just say no to State of Origin duties. I believe it's in contracts for players. But for the club to say after what's happened, it's obviously a high chance of injury in those sorts of games to re-aggravate injuries if Parramatta came out and said we don't want him to play. But to be fair, I think New South Wales, Mitch Moses know if he's fit, he needs to play for New South Wales to have any chance. Trav, Cody Walker, 5'8", just hasn't been there this year. Like I can't pick any South players at the moment in Origin. I can't even pick Latrell. I think Latrell's so far away from selections. I know he's a big game player on the big stage. I just don't trust him at the moment to produce. Mart, good show. Off to bed. All the best, mate. Thanks for watching. It's been hard. I know, just myself, not one to bounce off. Hopefully we've gotten better as we've gone. The audio has been good, but I appreciate you jumping on, Martin, and getting involved. Really do appreciate it. And make sure you hit that sub button if you haven't already. Paul, don't blame me for leaving either. Charlie, do you think Mark O'Neill signed Lomax to try and protect his position? Oh, maybe, but it's definitely too little too late for my opinion. Like he single-handedly lost us Connor Tracy. I think Connor Tracy would be perfect at the club right now. He would fit in and fill so many roles that we've got at the moment. And there's a number of other recruitment decisions and retention decisions. Like I'm talking Reed Marnie, I'm talking Isaiah Papali'i, Murata Niokora, to name a few. Oregon Kafusi's killing it at the Cronulla Sharks. Like these are all players that Mark O'Neill viewed weren't worth the money that other clubs are throwing at him. He decided to choose to keep some other players that the likes of Sean Lane, I feel like he's paid massive overs for, and we haven't got value for money. Andrew, I was talking to Blaze on Friday night. He wants to stay, but I think he wants BA to go. Yeah, the thing is, it's good to talk to players at the moment, but there's no way you're going to get honest answers out of them about things, and that's unfortunate. But if you get those sorts of vibes from players, it's generally probably on the market that you feel like they're keeping things hidden. Paul, are we trying to buy more players? If so, who? If you're talking about Parramatta, I'm not too sure. I haven't heard anything more about any potential. I've heard a whisper about Angus Crichton, but I don't think that'll happen. I don't think the club will get on the front foot there and sign someone who's actually that quality. I'd love it to happen, but I don't see anything else. Guys, I think that is it. That will be all we've got time for tonight. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you haven't already, please make sure you go and do. Guys, there's a massive giveaway that I'll be putting up on the page and starting from tomorrow. Jumped with support of a sponsor as well for this one. It features the Captain's Lounge for Parramatta, so it's a huge one. Really keen to put this out there, and it's going to be for the Parramatta Melbourne Storm game. That's all I'll say, and go from there. Chris, well done on your podcast. Keep the great work up, mate. Dave says hello. Hello, Dave. Oh, there we go. I know Sienna's now. Nice to see you guys. Thank you for tuning in. It got me all nervous now, but I really do appreciate the support there and giving me your time and watching the video. Andrew, if there was a team with 17 of Steve and Lane, would you support them? Oh, I'm Parramatta blood. Like I will always support the club. It doesn't mean I'll have to support what they're doing either. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for jumping on and putting up with me on my lonesome. I promise the boys will be back bigger, better than ever on Wednesday night. We'll also have a couple other segments over the next few days as well. I'm introducing a new show tomorrow night, which will be just a podcast and video version. It won't be a live version. It's just a quick dumps segment. It will be called. We'll just hit some of the topics at the moment and give you a 30-second answer. Just a really quick rapid fire show. And obviously a lot of Supercoach content coming out the next couple of days with Jesse as well, which I'm really keen to get into. But thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Become a sub if you can. Only $2.99 a month on the Facebook page. Really goes a long way to help support myself and obviously the page grow. And you click that subscribe button on YouTube and keep an eye out tomorrow for the competition. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for watching.